Hi everybody, so in this video I'm going to try and answer the question about whether Resident Evil 2 Remake, does it run well on the Steam Deck and how does it feel? Is it a good game to play on the Steam Deck as well? And in these examples you're seeing it running on my 512GB OLED Steam Deck, which I got just after Christmas. But you've got to bear in mind the fact that the presentation that I'm showing you here on YouTube is really, it's not always that fair to the Steam Deck, because what you're seeing is phone captured footage. That's where you see the whole of the device and me playing it, and then you've got screen capture footage which I've captured through my PC. But the problem is that the Steam Deck only has a 7-inch screen, which is quite large. It's larger than the phone screen, and it's only 1200 by 800, which when you blow it up onto like a full-size monitor doesn't look that great. But when you're playing it on the little OLED screen of the Steam Deck, it really is really beautiful, because you have the really black blacks and the really white whites as well. Also, I'm kind of aware that there's roughly sort of two types of people who are probably watching this video. People who already have a Steam Deck and you know its limitations, and you're just wondering, you know, should you buy and play Resident Evil 2 Remake on the Steam Deck? Is it a good game for the Steam Deck? And also maybe the people who already own Resident Evil 2 Remake, probably on a console or on a PC, and you're thinking, gosh, this is one of my favourite games. I wouldn't mind playing this mobile. You know, does this justify buying a Steam Deck? And one thing I would say is, before you go any further, I always think that the Steam Deck is really, really good for PC gamers who already have a PC gaming rig and a Steam library, or had one, rather than people who say don't own anything at the moment or have a console or want to get into PC gaming. I don't think it's great for that. So in the description below this video, you'll find a link to another video I've done that kind of explains my reasons for that in a little bit more detail. But back to Resident Evil 2 Remake. And performance is really good, I think, working on the standard settings. Mostly chugs along. I say chugs, I shouldn't say chugs. Mostly it moves smoothly at 60 frames a second. Although I do lock my deck max to 60 just to preserve battery life. You may get more dips sometimes as well, but it is lovely and smooth. And one of the great joys of the Steam Deck is the controls, is the thumbsticks and the buttons, and the feel of it in your hand. It's probably as good as, if not better than, holding Xbox or PlayStation controllers. It really is put together very, very nicely indeed. And again, back to that OLED screen, you know, you put Resident Evil 2 Remake into HDR mode, and things like the neon lights, they're so colourful, they look so realistic, and the fluorescent lights, they all look beautiful. And then you have these really black blacks, but you don't have to play it like that. You can play it in normal mode and just do a little bit of fiddling, adjusting the brightness, and it looks, I think it looks better than when I play it on my PC or on my console as well. So performance wise, really, really nice. And how does it feel? Is it a good game? And is it a good game to play on your Steam Deck? And I've got to say, if you've never played Resident Evil 2 Remake, you're in for a real treat. If you played the original Resident Evils back in the day, Resident Evil 2 back in the day, this will give you so many vibes as you're going around these sort of familiar places that you kind of remember but don't remember, but look beautiful. Resident Evil 2 Remake, it's a survival shooter, and what makes it stand head and shoulders above many other games is the atmosphere and the sheer attention to detail in the environments. You know, I really wish you could hit a button and go into first person on Resident Evil 2 Remake, because it looks brilliant just walking around the Raccoon City police station and the other areas as well. I'd recommend that first timers, I would say play it on easy so you get to know the mechanics and you don't get too frustrated, because Resident Evil 2 Remake is designed for multiple playthroughs like the first one, because you've got Claire's story, you've got Leon's story, and they've both got an alternative story as well. And that's when you can then, when you're more familiar with it, you can jack up the difficulty and try the different characters and different strategies as you're going through. So for me, I mean, Resident Evil 2 Remake is one of my favourite games of all time on PC and console anyway, played it on both, and also on my Steam Deck, because there's something magical about, and you'll hear this a lot in my videos about the Steam Deck, there's something magical about having this device in your hand that you can pick up, and you've got basically AAA game gaming at your fingertips that you can play anywhere, in the car, in your lunch break at work, in the shed, on the toilet, anything. And maybe it's my age, because I'm an older geezer. My first handheld was a Game Boy, the original Game Boy. And the fact that we've come to this point now where for a reasonable amount of money you can have this tech and it works well and plays well is fantastic. So Resident Evil 2 Remake, highly recommended for me on Steam Deck. If you don't own it already and you've got a Steam Deck, you should definitely check it out and buy it. And if you're thinking about buying a Steam Deck and you've already got a PC gaming rig, and you enjoy Resident Evil 2 Remake on your PC, you're definitely going to enjoy Resident Evil 2 Remake if you buy a Steam Deck too. Anyway, that's enough from me. What do you think? Put your questions and comments down below, and I will of course see you again soon.